Okay, so you know already people are coming to Florida in droves. Lots of different people coming for different reasons. But what we're going to talk about today, we're going to keep this light, we're going to keep this fun, we're going to go away from the board this week. But what we're going to be talking about is Floridian or not. How do you tell? We're getting after that next. First, let's address the fact that there are so many people coming to Florida. Just between 2022 and currently here with second month going into the third month of 2023, over 500,000 people not have showed up here, but have changed their residency to the state of Florida. Yes, changed over their license. Now they're Floridians or they want to be Floridians, but there's some tests that you have to pass before you can call yourself a Floridian. Lots of different behaviors, lots of different things you can spot just by watching people. If you're a people watcher, you're going to pick up on these things very easily. But we're going to talk about some of that stuff. We're going to talk about why all these people have become a little bit problematic with our pricing in housing, in rentals. A little bit of what I'm seeing, some of the things I'm seeing when I'm working with clients. We're going to share all that. We're going to share some of these humorous inside things about how people do things differently here. But outside of that, if you are looking for a channel to tell you a little bit more about what it's like to live, play, eat, sleep, and buy real estate on the Gulf Coast, this is the channel for you. So go ahead, subscribe, hit the little bell to make sure you're notified every time. And to start your search on the MLS, just like we use it, go to ournextfloridahome.com or use our mobile app, Our Next Florida Home, to get your search started. If you have questions above and beyond what you find on the videos and through the app and the site, you've got to do what everyone else is doing. Call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast. Okay, so this mass invasion that we talked about, the 500,000 plus people in that short period of time, yes, it is causing problems. It's causing problems in the rental market more so than the sales market. Sales market is kind of shifted a little bit. You can get some favorable pricing in some markets. You will have to do some work on the properties. And I know this because I've been going out here recently with Jeff and Nadia. We're looking for a investment home for them. They already own a home here. Yes, they were affected by the hurricane. No, they're not leaving. Not only did they fix their home up, but now they're looking for another home to rent out. That is what it's like to be in this area. Once you're here, once you get a taste of it, once you feel it, you're not going to want to leave. That's just what it is. But I need you to know how to fit in as a Floridian. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff here in just a minute. I mentioned how Jeff and Nadia are looking for a rental property. There's something that I noticed here as we're going through the process. There's some challenges of finding these properties. And you might think it could be finding a nice property in a nice area. No, not really. Could be finding one that's priced well. No, we're okay there too. What the problem is the costs and the pricing and how that goes against the rental amount that you can get. So this is where the return on investment, the ROI, plays a part. And we've been crunching numbers trying to find a way, because if a property has insurances, especially flood insurance on top of the hazard insurance, on top of the taxes, on top of the mortgage, that's a lot of expense. But where do you think that expense goes? It gets passed on to the renter. Yes, so that's why rental prices are so high. I saw an article a short period of time ago that said roughly $2,300 a month is what the average rental is in Southwest Florida. And I don't know. I'm seeing numbers that range anywhere from that 2,000 mark all the way up to 4,000. So it really depends. Now, season is different than annual. I'm speaking on an annual basis. And these homes don't have to be anything fantastic. Many of them don't have pools. Many of them aren't on the water. They're just dry site, normal home, maybe 1,600 square feet. Some homes in that 2,400 per month are still a 1,200 square foot home. You're not even getting a lot of space. So keep those things in mind. Rental pricing is still not favorable for the most part. That's why we're finding a lot of people that are starting to jump at doing a purchase. And that's an experience that I had with Mark and Deb. They've been here now for a year. They relocated and they both work remote. So, there's no pressure to be any particular place. And they want something that's a little bit outside the norm, just with more space. They've got 3 big animals that they want to be able to run around. But guess what they're doing? They're getting out of the rental and getting into a purchase because the rental's too expensive. Even though they're making great money together, they're saying it's expensive. So keep that in mind. Rental is great to get your feet wet, short period of time, the annual thing could get really, really costly for you. It sometimes is going to be as much as what you would put on a down payment for a house. So those are things you want to consider as we move through this. But that's just a quick little glimpse of what the housing market is currently looking like. Okay, so regardless of that stuff, of the housing, let's just say you're coming here. You are going to be a Floridian. You need to know a few things. First off, this is it. Anybody, I had somebody tell me the other week, hey, Craig, I've watched you long enough to know that one of your huge pet peeves is people driving in the left-hand lane going the speed limit. Guess what? That is a clear sign that you are not a Floridian. You're a non-Floridian if you're in the left lane and you're going the speed limit. That is for the illegal driving. That's the speeding lane. You have to move right, get out of the way, and let the speeder speed. That's how we like to do it here. Yes, could we get in trouble for it? Sure, but let us make that decision and just get out of the way. Another non-Floridian thing to do is wear t-shirts that say Florida or Fort Myers Beach or anything that talks about a city, town, or the state when you're living here. We don't do that unless it's a sports team. If it's a sports shirt, great, but not just one that is advertising a town. It's kind of not a Floridian thing. Here's something that Floridians do, and I think I know why. It is the arbitrary use of a turn signal. Yes, you a lot of times won't see a turn signal. I can be guilty at times, but I try to let people know, especially if it's oncoming traffic, so they know where I'm going. But there are times where, yeah, it's just easier to make that quick little turn or make that quick switch to another lane, because by the time you notify somebody, now they're speeding up to block you. It's an oddity. It's something that happens. So if you want to be a Floridian, just don't use your turn signal. Now, non-Floridians, what do you do when you hear about a Category 1 hurricane? Yeah, you're one of them. You run to the store, you stock your shelves, you pick up all the water you can carry, you fill up all your 5-gallon gas tanks, probably 5 of them at a time, holding up the whole entire line of people who just want gas to get to work or get home. You're filling up your cans. Category 1 is hey, it might rain and be a little windy. But after the last storm, it's hard to joke about. Just take it with a grain of salt. The low category storms are usually not a reason to run out and start stocking stuff. So keep that in mind should you be here and a storm's coming. All right, Floridians, what do we know that many people don't? What's a pub sub? Yeah, Publix subs. They are the best, and they're especially good if you're going to be outdoors activities, going for a picnic in the park, going out on the boat. Quick way to grab it. In fact, you can order online, just pick it up, have your name on it, go cash out, you're done. Quick, easy, to the point, especially if you know what you want. But keep in mind, Publix, pub subs, best way to go if you're looking for a cold cut kind of sandwich. Now, non-Floridians, what do we ask about all the time in Florida? Are there gators there? Are they going to bother me? Look, we don't worry about gators. Floridians don't care about the gators. We know that if you don't mess with them, they're not going to mess with you. Now, are there some instances where things can happen? Sure. If you're walking a small pet down near the water and he's a small pet and he looks like a snack to a gator, yeah, that could cause a problem. If you're in there fishing for golf balls and stuff, that's not where you belong. Try not hitting your ball in the water, even better. But if you go near their territory, especially if it's a nest with babies, hey, you're infringing on their space. So again, you don't bother them, they're not going to bother you. Floridians tend to have multiple pairs of sandals. Many of them can be color-coded to match outfits. I know that I personally have about 5 or 6 pairs, and that's on the side of the boat shoes, because then you have the kind of dockers kind of shoes that you wear around. I wear those a lot as well. And no, it's not specific just for my boat. They're comfortable. You want that freedom and that free flowing, but sandals are definitely high on the list of Floridians. Another thing Floridians do is they regularly use sunscreen, and they're always on the lookout for the best one. There's many different sunscreens out there, and I was actually, again, with Jeff and Nadia today. They're cruising around in their Jeep with no top on. And again, they're newer Floridians. They just came in last year. You know, again, they felt the storm effects and all that fun stuff, but now they're getting into the real life, and Jeff has himself a Jeep. It's gorgeous, big fat tires, knobby, just a beautiful vehicle. But with the top off, lots of sun. So I warned them, I forewarned them, I'm hoping they listened to put sunscreen on if you're going to be tooling around. They were going for a drive down in Sanibel today. I'm just hoping they heard that and didn't get burnt up. Speaking of which, Floridians, tan lines. Non-Floridians, burn lines. Yes. How many times have you gone to the beach, Fort Myers Beach in particular, and seen people completely baked, red as lobsters? That's a clear indication that they are not Floridians. Now, regarding weather, Floridians are it's a very specific thing when we talk about weather and temperatures, because we like the cooler weather for a period of time, and we like the warmer weather for a period of time. Kind of fickle that way, I guess. So if the temperature gets too low for too long, yeah, we can't wait for it to warm up again. It gets to us. I'm going to say if you get below 50 on repetitive days and it's breezy and the wind cuts through, yeah, then we want some warmth back. That's still what Florida is. But yet again, we're here in wintertime right now. We're just about going on March and the temperature is 90 degrees. We're setting records right now. We don't like that either. This is our reprieve. This is our great time of the year. This is the time of year when we have no humidity and we should be hanging in the 70s, maybe low 80s. Well, hell, now we're up in the 90s. So that's not something we really like, and we can be a little bit annoyed and maybe a little temperamental because this is not in our comfort zone. Another thing Floridians do regarding the weather is they casually walk through rain. When it's raining outside, we're not running and scurrying, rarely carry umbrellas. You just kind of tough it out, because guess what? By the time you get in the place you're going, you're going to dry in a few minutes anyway. Doesn't stay on you very long, but the rain's going to be there, especially in the summer months, so just going to have to deal with that. Another thing Floridians do is we don't generally leave home without some kind of an insulated cup, mug, thermos. Tervis is a great one. That's one where you can obviously have all your sports teams logos on them and everything, but you're going to want that because the warm months that we have, you want to keep that ice cold, you want to keep the drink cold, and that is one thing that we carry with us when we go out. All right, so that's a little bit about how to tell a Floridian versus a non-Floridian. If you want more information about living in Florida, moving to Florida, or just how things are here in Florida, check out one of these other videos. And if you've got a specific question that you need an answer to, you've got to call, text, or email, because I've got your back when moving to the Gulf Coast.